Hi, I'm Gibaud, and today I want to speak about stabilization. I see many people that are a bit lost, that don't know exactly how it works, what you can expect as a result, all this, so we're going to speak about this. This video before was in my member area. This is why the sound is a bit different, because I changed microphone, that's the reason. And now I decided to put it public, but you can still be a member, the join button just below. So let's speak about this. Let's start. Image stabilization is a matter between you and the camera. It will not change that the trees have wind and they move, or people are walking fast in your picture, in the frame, so that will affect the aspect of the picture. I just speak about you and only you with the camera, okay? Second, to understand how it works, first we're going to analyze what happens if you don't have any image stabilization. Well, there's a rule that is a rule of thumb, as we say, that is simple. You should not lower the speed under the focal length millimeter equivalent in full frame. Let's say I've got a 50 millimeter equivalent full frame. I should not go under 1/50th of a second. If I've got a 500 millimeter, I should not go under 1/500th of a second shutter speed. Okay, otherwise it may be moved. Okay, so blurred because you move. Okay, so that's the first rule of thumb. I said equivalent full frame. It means that if you have a 50 millimeter on APS-C camera, then you should calculate one like if it was 75 millimeter. If it's 1.5 crop, otherwise it's 1.6. Well, calculate. Okay, so that's important. So under this speed, normally your picture may be blurred due to your motion. That can be yourself, or that can be vibration in the camera. Okay, both may occur. Okay, so that's important to know that. So what is the stabilization doing for you? First, there are two types of image stabilization. One are in the lens. So it's actually some lenses in there that actually compensate your movement. You move like this, okay, so it will compensate. And the other option is in the body. This is the sensor, that is the full sensor that is actually moving to compensate your movement. And then there may be a combination of both, lens and body. But really important, first, they need to be compatible, and that the maker of both allow this possibility. Normally it needs to be the same brand, okay, if you have a lens that is stabilized, okay. Second, some lenses are stabilized but your body is not. Some body do accept and then it's still stabilized. Other you need to check with your camera, okay. And second, they don't add up. Like, let's say this body has 6 stop stabilization and the lens would have 3. That does not give me 9 stops of stabilization. Normally, when you combine, you get an extra stop. Okay, so that's important to know that. Otherwise, you will think, yeah, 6 plus 3, I get 9. No, that's not the way it works. Okay. Another point that is important: when the camera maker tells you a result, like we have a 6-stop IBIS image in-body image stabilization, it means they've tested with a specific lens or 2 specific lenses. So you should go to the maker website and check what lens they've used. It's not the same thing if they use a 50 millimeter than a 500 millimeter than a 20 millimeter. So it's important, because maybe you're disappointed, but actually you're not using at all the same focal length, so you don't get the same results. If this tried with a 75 millimeter and you're using a 500, you obviously have different results. So that's important. Something else, each of us are different. So the tests are made for the average person. Maybe you are a lot more steady than average, so you will get more stops. Or the other hand, you are not as steady, because it can be your age, it can be your health, it can be your nerves or whatever, and you move a lot more. So this way, even if it's stabilized, you will not get as good result as they announce. Okay, so it's so important to be aware of this. And by the way, as I said, if you want to help me, you can be a member for just €1.99 a month. There's a join button just below, and you will receive a small star next to your name, so I know you're help me so I answer your question with priority. Also have affiliated links in description, please use them. And if you wanted to buy Luminar Neo, you get a 10% discount with my code ERIC10 on top of any offer they have, so still place your code and you save some money. And with ERIC20 you get 20% discount in 2 places. First one, K&F, where you will find all the accessories by K&F Concept and more brands, and also 20% discount with EVOTO AI, this fantastic retouch app. And this is great to follow the link because you get also 15 free credits. You can export the pictures and really try everything you want in this app. So thank you so much. Let's carry on. So let's see what you gain with the image stabilization. First, let's say I've got a 50mm equivalent full frame, and they tell me I've got a 6-stop stabilization. Okay, so let's go for it. We'll start from 1/60th of a second instead of 150. Okay, so we have round figure, photography round figure. So 1/60th to 1/30th is 1 stop. 1/15th, 2 stops. 1/8th, 3 stops. 1/4 of a second, 4 stops. Half a second, 5 stops. 1 second, 6 stops. So in theory, this 50mm with 6 stop IBIS will give me, I can go as low as 1 second. Okay, that sounds great. Okay, but you don't get it. You don't manage to get this 1 second. Check if your camera is actually tested with a lens that is 50mm, and you can actually go that low. Second, maybe your condition is not as steady, so it's not as good. You won't get as good results. Okay, so that's important. Second, it's a lot easier to to benefit the image stabilization on longer lens than shorter lens. Let's say I've got a 500mm lens, so I would start from 1/500th of a second down to 250, 1 stop. 125, 2 stop. 160, 3 stops. 130, 4 stops. 115, 5 stops. 1/8, 6 stops. It's a lot easier to be steady with a 500mm at 1/8 of a second than to start from a 20mm that would be 1/20th, 1/10th, 1/5 of a second, 1 second, 2 seconds, 4 seconds. It's a lot less possible to get 4 seconds steady with a 20mm than 1/8 of a second steady with a 500mm. So take this into account. That's really important. Okay, so how can you make sure that you have the result? And something else, there may be vibration in your camera, especially if you have a reflex camera. Only Pentax has image stabilization in the body. Okay, the other reflexes have it in the lens. Okay, nowadays with mirrorless you have both possibilities: stabilized body or just lens body, or none. Okay, so if none, well, you know that the rule of thumb is the one that applies. Okay, so if you have a reflex camera, the mirror will vibrate. So if you use a tripod, it doesn't matter stabilization, because you're on a tripod, you switch it off, that's it. But what's important is that you can lift the mirror so it doesn't vibrate. But if you're handheld, and this is what we speak about today, then how do you do that to avoid this vibration? So you frame, then you click on the button to lift the mirror, but then you don't see anything anymore in the viewfinder. So you cannot frame, or you need to go so fast that you may move actually and create more movement and more blur. So it's more difficult. So take into account that when you have a reflex camera, it's really harder to get stabilized image, okay, because of that. So let's go back to this. So I said it depends on you. How do you know then if the image stabilization is okay for you or not? How low you can go? There's no other solution than training, testing, and see it for yourself. It means you need to get all the lens you have, or you will use, and try. You go in a quiet place, handheld, and then you press the button, and then drop speed, press again, drop speed, press again, and then in a screen you check from which speed you start to lose sharpness because of motion blur. Okay, and you know until what speed you can drop. You need to write it down, okay? But if you just do that, that's a problem, because actually real life is not always to be quiet and easy all this. Maybe you're just walking around and then you go make a picture. It's, let's say it's just after sunset, and it's still beginning of blue hour, and you're there making with really low light picture, and you walk around, you go fast, all this, and then you're not steady, you're like this. So you need to test also in this situation. And also you must learn how to hold your camera. I see some people holding like this, even some famous photographer, and this is not steady at all. You should put your hand like this. Second, put your elbow in your stomach. My stomach being bigger, it's easier for me to rest on it, okay? And then you breathe in, inspire, expire a bit, lock your breath, and then you shoot, okay? That's important. If you don't do it this way, like this, that's going to be a problem, okay? So you must test both situations. It's a bit like the sport, the athlete that do biathlon, that is, or biathlon, I don't know you say, that is shooting and skiing. Stop skiing, they lay on the floor, and then have to calm down a bit to be able to shoot to the target. And it's really hard. If they don't have the ski part, it would be easier. Same thing for you. So it's important you test in real life, so you know how low you can go, so this way you don't get disappointed when you get home and you see all your pictures are blurred because you thought the maker said 6 stops, so you made all your picture 1 second, and for you, sorry to tell you, but for you it will be more a quarter of a second to be okay, and you need to know that beforehand. So that's important you train and to know that. Don't forget, the more million pixels you have on your camera, the more sensitive it is to movement. So although you have several lenses you use on 2 different bodies, the same lenses, 2 different bodies, if you don't have the same resolution or whatever, test it, because if one is maybe 40 million pixel and the other one is 16, you will see some differences. So don't just test the lenses, do everything with every body and write down your results. In case you would have just a slight motion blur, there are some software like Topaz AI Sharpen AI that will actually rectify this, correct it, okay, that does help. But sometimes it's so blurred that it's not possible. But the only way to know how low you can go is to test for yourself, because what is okay for me is not okay for you. What is okay for one of your lenses is not okay for the other one, or for the camera body. So it's so important you do real life test and you write down, so when you go and make picture you can know exactly what you can do and not do. That's the key to success, to get the most out of your image stabilization. Otherwise you get disappointed, but simply because you don't match the condition they had when testing. I know some people get a lot better stabilization than what they announce, because they have a really steady situation, and sometimes you cannot put your camera on a tripod, so obviously you need to do handheld, but you could place yourself against the wall and be a lot more steady. Use your viewfinder, because that makes like a third point of like this on your forehead, or when your nose is touching. That gives more stabilization also. So that's important to know that. So I hope this video does help you to understand why you did not get the result you maybe expected, and how to do now to get the right result, or at least to know until what speed you can go down to have a image that is still sharp. So I hope now you are a stabilization expert. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The small button in here, it's a small bell. If you click on the bell, you will get notified when I upload a new video. My website, Gibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. As I said, you can be a member for just €1.99 a month. There's a join button just below, and that helps me, so I answer your question with priority. Thank you so much. I also have affiliated links in the description. Please use them, that really helps me. And don't forget, Eric10 give you 10% discount on Luminar Neo on top of any offer they have, so still place your code. And with Eric20 you get 20% discount with EVOTO AI, where you will get this fantastic app for retouching pictures, and also 15 free credits. And also on K&F website, you'll get 20% discount on all the accessories by K&F Concept and more brands. So use it. That helps you. That helps me. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Also leave you my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.